I watched Pavlo claim HighLevel AI could build a $6,000 website in minutes. That sounded like a huge claim. So I tested it on a real remodeling business. This is what HighLevel created. At first glance, it actually looks pretty convincing. But a nice-looking homepage doesn't make this a $6,000 website. I want to know if the pages work, if someone can actually inquire, and what happens to that lead afterwards. For the test, I chose a real remodeling company. Their existing website is perfectly usable, so HighLevel isn't getting an easy win here. It has real services, real business information, and an existing site to work from. The question is whether AI can turn that into something that genuinely feels more premium. And I wanted to give HighLevel a fair chance. I didn't just type, "build me a nice website," and hope for the best. I gave it the sort of brief I'd expect a designer to work from. I asked for a bright, premium remodeling site. No black backgrounds, no huge heavy fonts, plenty of white space, and clear calls to action. I wanted kitchen and bathroom services, project galleries, truss sections, and, importantly, a clear way for someone to book a consultation. Then I gave that brief to HighLevel and let AI build the first version. And this was the first result. My first reaction was mixed. The overall layout was much more polished than I expected, but it immediately went very dark. The headline felt far too heavy. And that wasn't the style I wanted for a kitchen and bathroom company. That's important because AI producing something impressive isn't the same as AI following the brief. So I asked it to make the site lighter, warmer, and easier to read. And this is much closer. The photography does a lot of the work, the spacing feels cleaner, and there's an obvious next step for someone considering a remodel. It now feels much more like a home improvement business and much less like a tech company. But this is where I think a lot of AI website demos stop too early. A homepage can look brilliant and still be useless to the business. So I went through the rest of the site. The real question is whether HighLevel has created proper usable pages or just one impressive homepage with filler behind it. The homepage isn't where most visitors make their decision. They click through to the service pages, so these need to be just as strong. Starting with the kitchen remodeling page, HighLevel has carried the same design style across with clear sections, strong imagery, and obvious calls to action. It doesn't feel like an afterthought. The remodeling section brings all of the company's services together in one place. Rather than forcing visitors to hunt through the website, it gives them a clear overview of what's available. Whether someone is planning a kitchen renovation, a bathroom remodel, or a larger home improvement project, it's easy to find the right starting point. The layout is clean, the navigation makes sense, and each service naturally leads visitors towards taking the next step. A great desktop website doesn't mean much if the mobile experience falls apart. Most homeowners are likely to discover this business on their phone, so that's where the website really needs to perform. The navigation is simple and easy to use, the text remains readable without excessive zooming or scrolling, and the buttons are large enough to tap comfortably. The images also scale well, so the premium feel carries across to smaller screens. Overall, the mobile version feels polished and gives visitors the same experience as the desktop site. Now let's test something much more important than the design, the consultation button. On the first version, this actually exposed a problem. The booking area was so dark that parts of it were difficult to see. That's exactly the sort of thing you could miss if you just looked at the homepage and said, AI built an amazing website. So I had HighLevel correct the contrast and make the booking experience properly visible. Now let's see if someone can actually complete it. I'm going to submit this as though I were a genuine homeowner asking about a remodeling project. And this is the part that makes HighLevel more interesting than simply generating a nice website. That inquiry can become a contact inside the CRM instead of disappearing into someone's inbox. From here, the business can trigger follow-up, an email, a text message, an internal notification, or move the lead into a pipeline so somebody actually follows up with them. And this is where I'd separate the AI hype from what you're actually paying for. HighLevel didn't produce a perfect finished website with one click. I had to change the design direction, fix readability, check the booking experience and review the content. And anything like reviews, prices, warranties or business claims still needs checking against the real company information. But it also didn't leave me staring at a blank page. It created the structure, layouts, pages and a large part of the first draft, and I could then tell the AI what I wanted changed. So, is this really a $6,000 website? I wouldn't say somebody should press one button, take the raw AI result and charge a client $6,000. That's not realistic. A client paying that sort of money is paying for the strategy, the correct content, branding, testing, revisions, lead capture, and the system behind the website as well. But could this dramatically cut the time it takes to get from a blank screen to a professional first version? Based on this test, yes. And that's the part I think is genuinely interesting. If you want to test HighLevel, I'll leave the free trial and bootcamp link in the description. The bootcamp is useful if the platform feels overwhelming. And don't spend the trial clicking around everything. Build one real workflow like this and see whether it actually saves enough time and work to be worth paying for.